livestock department. So Drumlin Farm is very committed to sustainable and humane farming, and that was really exciting for me because I've always loved animals and I grew up having a lot of pets. So I was excited to get to know a new type of animal, not just the domestic pets living in my home with me. And my inspiration for involving myself with the humane care of other animals was when I adopted my own dog, Ringo, and I became his primary care and his #1 human. And that was a very powerful and joyful experience for me. And it also opened my eyes to how important it is to sympathize with animals that are not humans and to make an active effort to provide them with high-quality lives. So, knowing this, I went forward into Drumlin Farm and got to know the animals there. And like Stanley said, knowledge is power. And as I got to know the animals, I got to know what goes into taking care of them, and I became a more powerful force in providing humane and sustainable animal care. So I enjoyed the atmosphere at Drumlin Farm and the importance of educating people who come visit on sustainable and humane farming and how important that is to the individual lives of the animals on the farm. And I really appreciated the positive environment Drumlin Farm provides to help people learn about how wonderful it is to give a good, full, and happy life to the animals that are giving back to us. So we're very evolved as a species, and we take a lot from different animals. We eat meat, and I'm all in favor of that. I'm not saying we should all go vegetarian, but what I am saying is we need to be careful in the way we raise these animals and to have a lot of integrity in the farms and ways we're getting different products from these animals. So we can embrace our abilities, but we also have to embrace the responsibility that comes with being able to take so much from others. And I recognize that it's challenging to fight the convenience of cheap and maybe not sustainably raised food. So I'd like everyone to read this quote about it by Henry David Thoreau. So he explains that as a dominant species, we do have the most comfortable lives, and we can take more than we should from our environment that we're sharing with species other than humans. So we need to check ourselves because we're the only ones with the power and control to do that. We need to be aware of the fact that we are responsible for our own integrity and that buying into non-sustainable farming is also buying into a society that is comfortable with greedy ignorance and taking without consideration for who we're taking from. So we know that we share one ecosystem with the rest of the animals, and we need to recognize that we control that ecosystem and we control the lives of other animals in that ecosystem. So we need to use our control to help preserve that environment and help support animals other than humans as well. And that's a really big point of Drumlin Farm, is educating and sustainably taking up space to use it for the support of animals other than humans. And that connection to commitment brings a lot of joy for the people working at Drumlin Farm. So it's very powerful, and it's a place that lets people get to know different animals and their individual personalities. So above me are photos of Mayhem the goat and BB King the sheep, both of whom are better than most humans at posing for a photo and have really impressed upon me the fact that animals are very individual and have strong personalities. So that was a big joy, but also an important influence on me to encourage me to help support these animals and provide them with good lives while they're around. So this innocence and genuine attitude of the animals is their own way of encouraging people to sympathize with them and give them what they need, because these animals don't have the control and power that humans do. So they do support each other, and a very clear way to see this was in the Crossroads barn where all of the pregnant sheep lived, 26 of whom gave birth to lambs this spring. And there was one birth that I witnessed. A ewe gave birth to 3 lambs, and while she was pushing out her last baby, I was crouched down next to her face, kind of trying to pet her, offer some comfort while she was going through the struggle of childbirth. And it was really powerful for me. She was so committed and so strong and going through so much that I don't understand. So I was kind of grappling with what I can do to compensate for the fact that I as a human am profiting from these lambs that are going to go off to market, that she just put her all into giving life. So that was kind of tricky for me to deal with, but I realized that if I make the effort to sympathize and make the effort to use that sympathy to provide a happy and supportive environment for these animals while they are alive, that's all I can do, and that brings a lot of joy into my life. So, because we have so much control as humans, we're at the top of the food chain. We're very complex, and we have a lot of our own systems, but we can't let that overshadow the system of organisms on Earth and our role in that. We often take extravagant care of our pets and pamper them, and then below pets there are the livestock that often people see as a business investment, but that needs to change, and people need to see those animals as individuals while they're alive on Earth, and they need to value the individuality of those animals and sympathize and provide a good life to those animals. So I want to encourage everyone to embrace their own responsibility, because that's the biggest thing I learned at Drumlin Farm. I want to continue volunteering at Drumlin Farm, where people are educated on how important it is to support animals and to humanely and sustainably run a farm where humans are getting food and the things we do need. So people can volunteer, or they can simply sign a petition, but it's important that everyone keep in mind our own role in the lives of others. Thank you.
All right, so we have about 5 minutes for questions if you want to know anything more about Gloria's work, project, or discoveries. So we'll take some questions now. Gloria, you can call.
Nora.
What do you think you wanna where do you wanna take this kind of
I don't know exactly what I want to do when I grow up, but I know that I'm always gonna have pets. I love living with a dog. Ringo is definitely one of my best friends, and I think that even if I don't have a career in animal care, I think it's very valuable to have the experience knowing how to responsibly take care of them and how to responsibly buy food that's coming from animals that have lived good lives. Allison?
So something I kind of struggle with a lot is finding ways to kind of vote with my money, right? So buying animal products, like including dairy and eggs from farms that treat their animals with respect. So, but the thing about that is it's not accessible to everyone because a lot of those times it's so expensive. So that's something that I struggle with a lot. What's your take on that, with the prices?
Well, I think that there's a lot of work to be done in the farming industry and food production. There are obviously a lot of issues with accessibility in terms of healthy food and let alone sustainably and humanely raised food. So that is really tricky. And I think that everyone who can is responsible to buy those things, and everyone is responsible to make an effort to either vote for bills that will outline more humane farming, but it is very hard today for a lot of people to sustainably source their food. Yes, Mr. Finnegan.
So you talked about some of the difficult experiences that you had while you were there, some of the more things that you reflected and considered. Did you have any actual disasters that you had to deal with? Was there anything that was just kind of out of control and it was just kind of you had never even considered how this would be something that people would have to think about working on a farm?
I was told a story. I wasn't actually there, but my boss told me that a while ago some baby chickens got loose and they got into the pig pen, and the pigs ate the baby chickens in front of a family with a very young child who was obviously completely traumatized. And my boss got yelled at by that kid's parents. And this woman was saying, how could you let this happen? This is so unacceptable. And my boss was like, look, I can't get in between a huge animal like a full-grown pig and something it wants to eat without jeopardizing my own safety. So that's kind of a disaster. But things even if things come up that aren't expected while I was there, everything was something we were able to work out.
Do we have any more questions? We have one right over there.
Yes.
Kiki?
I just want to compliment you on your point about not only the sustainability, but also if we are shopping, if we are able to afford to shop wisely and so on. I grew up on a farm, and we had free-range chickens. People in our area had free-range cattle and sheep. And to think that animals, and I know it's biased, but it's for business, there are animals growing and living where they're not free range, where they literally do not have an opportunity to walk in their life. They're just raised to provide meat or some other product needs or whatever and so on. And I think it's something we're going to be reading here and learning about, but not only sustainable farming, but to shop wisely with that in mind, with respect for these animals.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Gloria.
Gloria.